There's continuous in-class assessment, and so this means that the teacher is constantly thinking about the students' progress and what they need. We have a weekly unit test, so every Friday the students do a unit test. So this is a consolidation of what they have learnt. Okay, and then every 4 weeks they have a skills test. So they test their reading, writing, speaking, listening skills, whereas the weekly one is usually grammar and vocabulary. Okay.
What happens if they don't pass the test?
There isn't a pass or a fail, but for example, our cycles, they are 10 weeks long. Okay, so we have 10 weeks, and then if at the end of the 10 weeks a student has been in a level for 10 weeks, they will either do a movers test. They can tell the teacher might say that they are not ready to move up, and we use a different book. They start another cycle, but with a different book. Okay, but if the teacher thinks they are ready to move up, the teacher tells the academic manager these students are moving up, and all the students move up. So there's no pass or fail. It's just the best. Where it helps us to monitor their progress, and it helps us to identify the areas that they need more support with, or the teacher needs to do more work on. If everyone doesn't do very well in one test, then obviously they need to spend a bit more time on something. The skills test is a really important one for monitoring progress. So every week, if you have a good memory, then the progress test, you've just studied these new vocabulary, and on the Friday you can quickly answer everything. But the skills test, being able to listen, being able to understand text, this is a real demonstration of their progression and their level. Any questions? Hi.
Hi, thank you. Parents always ask us about a monthly progression report because always they're concerned about their kids' attendance.
Yeah.
Some kids, they are over 18. That is also a barrier for us to ask, or some schools, they say, no, we will not provide progression, monthly progression report. I don't know how this class deals that. Some kids, they are over 18. Mm-hmm. Their parents still, because they wait for their money, for them to come for 9 months or 6 months. And they like to know that they playing, their attendance over 90, and they are progressing every month or every 2 months to the higher level. So, how you do it?
Yeah, thank you. So we monitor attendance every week. We send emails and we have conversations with students whose attendance falls under 85%. So weekly we are monitoring attendance. Under 18 students must have 100% attendance. They are not allowed to miss classes or have a bit more sleep. No, they come to class. And over 18, usually they let us know. If a student is absent for 1 day, maybe they are doing, something else. But 85% is our thingy. It's our target. If a student, we have 3 warnings. So we ask them if everything's okay. Maybe they're bored. Okay, maybe we need to look at their class. Is there something wrong? Are they in the wrong level? And maybe they're having other problems. Maybe they're homesick. So we do have these conversations with the students to find out. And you said about a progress report, we have a template. So if it is requested by a parent or an agent, we can send a report which has their levels, their progress, their test results, and their attendance. Okay?
It's going to be updated every week.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, cultural office always ask about the final question. If a student attendance is below 90, they will stop with support. So kindly, please, just we always need to know how much the attendance for every sponsor before the last minute.
Yeah, no, we monitor very carefully, and we also send the counsellor, we let them know if the student's attendance is lower than the...
If that also be shared with parents and agents, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, we monitor very carefully and we keep the communication with everyone involved.
Thank you.
Okay. And you can request a report at any time as well. For the sponsor students, we give them at the 4 weeks, at the 12 weeks, we upload things as necessary.
If they're absent, our school contacts BDM, and BDM contacts agent, and agent lets the parents know. Is it correct?
For young learners?
For like language course, like 17 years old?
Yeah, if they're under 18, then if they're absent, then straight away the team is on the phone. First, we try to contact them. If they're staying with a homestay, we check the homestay. Then we would contact the BDM or the agent, whichever the BDM prefers. If you would prefer us to go straight to the agent, we can do that. If you prefer you to contact the agent, then we'll do that. And then we would contact the parent. This would all be within like half an hour. And obviously, if we can't hear, if we still don't know where they are, then we would contact the police, and we would make sure that the students were safe. Yeah, we don't just let them be absent. You can see downstairs, and you can see in all the locations, the 16 and 17-year-olds, they have to sign in the morning. And the teachers, we also have a WhatsApp group with teachers. We have the under 18s highlighted on registers. So the teacher, as soon as a student, if they are more than 15 minutes late, the teacher flags this straight away with a member of the school team, and we follow it up straight away. Okay. Few more bits only. Is everyone okay? Holding on?
Yeah.
So engaging.
5 more minutes, okay? So tutorials. All right, tutorials is when the students can think, reflect on their progress and get individual advice on their progress and how they can improve their listening, for example. So every 4 weeks, the students have a tutorial session. They have, it varies slightly in different schools, okay? But either, if it's a very small school, so in Toronto at the moment, we're still reasonably small. We give the students individual tutorials, okay? In some of the other locations, they have a class tutorial. So on a Monday morning, when all the new students arrive, the old students, they are, for 1 hour, they are doing a tutorial, okay? So they fill out, they reflect on their progress. How am I doing in listening? How do I feel? Do I feel really confident? Or do I need to do a little bit more work on this? And then they collaborate with their classmates. They talk about it. They talk about the things that they've been doing. They give each other advice. And the teacher is monitoring, and the teacher is giving individual feedback as they go around on the students' comments. Okay. Generally, this is really liked by students, even long-term students. They keep each copy. So the next 4 weeks, they bring their copy from the last 4 weeks, and they can see how they're making progress. So these are all different things we do to focus on areas that they need and to help them to track and understand their progress.
Is it tutorial like a one-to-one meeting with the teacher or something like that?
So it depends. Like in Toronto at the moment, they have a one-to-one, but in other locations, it's done as a class. So they work in groups and they reflect, and then they share, and then the teacher gives personalized feedback to each student. And on the back, the teacher writes comments and like an action plan. This is connected to a few different things. So on the student's first day, they do the writing test, and on the back, they write some goals. So they're setting their own goals at the beginning, okay? We take a copy of this, and this goes to their first tutorial. And then they look at the goals that they set, and what are they doing to reach these goals? And then at the end of the course, when we give them a certificate, we also give them a template where they can write their goals, and we discuss their goals for when they leave school. So how can they carry on learning? Okay, so they all feed into each other. It's an opportunity for personalised feedback and students to reflect and how they can become more autonomous learners, so how they can study better on their own. Okay, it looks like this. There are study clinics. A study clinic is a one-to-one meeting with an academic manager, okay? So with a super qualified teacher, super qualified and experienced teacher. The students are told about this in the induction. They are able to book a one-to-one meeting with an academic manager. They can do this every week if they like, but it's one a week, and it's 15 minutes, half an hour. So we've had students who have booked the IELTS exam and they just want to practice their speaking. So with Alex, our manager in Leeds, this student went and they did extra speaking practice and he did really well. He got the score he wanted and he was really happy. So it's like this extra time that they can book, and it's free for the student. And it's with a really qualified manager and someone different from their teacher, so they get something a bit different. They can discuss their progress. They can review work from class. This is good for very low beginner students who maybe find it more difficult to keep up with the class. They can go and say, okay, we did this today, but it was maybe a little bit fast. Can you tell me again? We can prepare their CV. We can do interview skills. We can help them with IELTS exam preparation. So often in the schools, there are slots in the week. So a Tuesday and a Thursday, one in the afternoon, one in the morning. And the student writes an email. We give them all of this information so they know what to do. It happens everywhere. This is something that students do a lot. It's free. It's a nice free extra. We have masterclasses. I know Sean told you a little bit about masterclasses yesterday. So all students enrolled in an intermediate B1 plus are all invited to a masterclass program. It's on Zoom, so all of our students from all the locations can join, and it runs for 12 weeks, and we have a few different times throughout the year. You have in your folders a masterclass timetable. You can have a little look in your folder in front of you. Please could you hold yours up to show them what it looks like? Yeah. This is the one with the four. Perfect, yeah. So you can have a look. So this is what I'm showing you on the right. It's really lovely. Sean teaches one of these masterclasses in public speaking. Isn't it, Sean? Public speaking and presentation skills, yeah. So students get an opportunity to be, with a really experienced, not always a teacher, but someone. We have, for example, in GBS, one of the lecturers does a bit in business management, international business. He does one. We have Joey, who is our Europe regional for Europe, and Joey does a session on higher education. So for students that want to learn more about higher education, really great. And what's amazing when you go and teach one of these classes is, that initial, and you say, oh, hi, nice to meet you. What school are you in? I'm Birmingham. What are you in? Dubai, Malta. And all these students get to meet each other, and they get to meet different members of the EP team as well. So it's really special.
To have an idea, how many students could connect one class? 20,
we say, is like a max, because more than that, there's not so much interaction. So we send to everyone. It's a first come, first serve. Last week we usually have about 50 sign-ups, 50, 60 sign-ups. And then really the ones who turn up, it's usually between 15 to 20 turn up per class.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're B1 plus, so they need that kind of, to access this type of material, they need to be a bit of a higher level. Hi.
Is there a maximum number of master classes that they can join? Or
no, they can join every week.
Okay.
They like, yeah. And every 12 weeks, so this is the program for the next 12 weeks. We started on the 8th of February and it runs until the 16th of May. As you know, summer is a very busy time, so we might not run during the summer, but we start again in September. And then we will always look at the master classes offered and potentially change some, but usually the students.
I know this is great for students, but it is possible one day, like us as agents, we can get it someday just to have a look how it is going and as well to share the experience with.
I don't see why not. Yeah,
possible?
Yeah, I'm sure that's possible. If you have a chat to your
good idea,
they will. Yeah, I'm sure that's fine. Maybe not everyone in the same one, but we can choose some slots. Yeah. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about these social activities and related to. Sorry, that was about the masterclasses. Any other questions about masterclasses? No? Great topics: creative writing, CV writing, interview success, higher education, brand marketing, social media management. So students also, we have our social program in the afternoon, and part of this social program in different areas, there are different free classes that the students can join. Conversation club, so extra speaking class. They get to speak a lot, they get corrected, new vocabulary. We might also have like a pronunciation workshop. Maybe they learn the difference of British and American or Canadian. There's Kathleen, maybe you met yesterday. And some of our students having Christmas dinner. Yeah. So that they get lots of opportunities. The idea of this social program is that they are encouraged to speak English and use the English that they have learnt in the morning, or and then they speak to each other in a real life setting, in a more relaxed setting. And of course, if the students have attended 85% or more of their lessons, then they receive a certificate. In many locations, they will get one anyway. But this is what we say, okay, to encourage them. But in Malta, they need, if they have the Identity Malta, if they have a visa in Malta, they must attend 85%. We can't give them a certificate if it's not 85%.
What if they happen to be sick for a whole week, like sick for a whole week?
They have a sick note, and we put them on authorised absence, so it doesn't affect their attendance.
Okay.
Yeah. You need to prove, right? Like you should prove with a
Prove,
degree.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we always ask for a doctor's note. Yeah, and equally, like if a student has to go back for a family emergency or something, we can put courses. We can freeze a course, but we do ask for proof because it takes a lot of admin and things, obviously. So we would say, your flight tickets or a doctor's letter or something, without being too intrusive. Yeah, and as we talked about earlier with the gentleman at the back, they can also request a progress report by speaking to the academic manager. So our certificates look a bit like this at the moment. It has their start date, their end date, the course, how many hours a week they study, and their attendance. And then at the back, there's a description of their level that can help them.
If they study football, it will say football. If they study Be Your Own Boss, it will say Be Your Own Boss.
Yeah, the name of the course will be on the certificate. The YL certificate is slightly different. I'm sure you'll get some information about this.
Okay.
YL certificate is just a bit brighter and bolder. And we will also have a professional certificate, which will have dual branding. So if we are partnered, for example, I'm working with our, I think you're aware, we are part of a group called GEDU. Yeah. English Path is one part. We have an American university called Schiller. We have GBS. We have MLA, which is like a maritime college. So I'm working with our partners to have dual branding on our certificates. So, for example, the business management, I might work with Schiller University and have one credit. So the students might have, for example, 30 credits that they can use towards doing a course in the future. Okay, so I'm working on this. At the moment, it's English Path material, but I'm working on the professional certificates having kind of a university and English Path, and we will be working with Digital Marketing Institute as well to offer professional certificate. Okay. So yeah, that's everything from me. Lots of information.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.